Joe Biden wants to send $33 billion in aid to Ukraine, but not one penny to stop illegal immigration, drugs, and guns from streaming across the southern border here in the U.S. Add to that, new questions are arising tonight in the wake of Hunter Biden's business deals with Communist China. Why America is doing nothing to counter troubling reports of joint military exercises between Red China and the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. Joining me now to weigh in on all of this, author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War and the author of The Coming Collapse of China, Gordon Chang. Gordon, it's always great to have you here. We know that China is already doing joint military exercises with Russia. Now they're going to be doing it with Iran. And in these exercises, they practice killing Americans. So let me just ask you point blank, how concerned are you? While Team Obama or Biden, basically they're all the same thing, they've turned over nuclear negotiations with Iran to Russia. And they're continuing to finance China's unprecedented military buildup by doing nothing to remove our supply chains out of China. Where does all of this point to in your mind?
Well, it points to that we've had a series of presidents who've been responsible for China engaging in very dangerous and provocative activities, and they've known that it's going on. So, for instance, China has supplied materials to Iran's nuclear weapons program directly and supplied technology through Pakistan's AQ Khan proliferation ring indirectly. And so there would not be an Iran nuclear weapons program were it not for Beijing. And we've known about this. And there's a number of guilty presidents, especially Bill Clinton, who knew what was going on but didn't take any steps to stop it.
Okay. Jen Psaki was asked about the White House's concern that Iran is coming close to establishing a nuclear weapon. Watch this.
Yes. It definitely worries us. Under the Iran nuclear deal, Iran's nuclear program was tightly constrained and monitored by international inspectors. And since the Trump administration seized U.S. participation in the deal, Iran has rapidly accelerated its nuclear program and reduced cooperation with international inspectors. Their breakout period is down from about a year, which is what we knew it was during the deal, to just a few weeks or less. And certainly that is a direct impact of pulling out of the nuclear deal, making us less safe, giving us less visibility.
Wow. Okay, Gordon, look, I'm going to be the ministry of truth on this administration round. Talk about revisionist history. This stuff is getting really old. Obama himself admitted that his deal paved the way for a nuclear-armed Iran. Yet Psaki pretends that it was Trump's moves that enabled the terrorist state to achieve a nuclear weapon. Would you please set the record straight?
Well, virtually everything that Psaki said was wrong there. We got to remember that Iran was violating the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, and it was President Trump who called them on it and therefore withdrew from the arrangement, which was absolutely the right thing to do. The Obama administration probably knew that Iran was not complying with the terms. It took a Trump to decide, look, we're going to enforce the deal by getting out of it. The other things that Jen Psaki said were absolutely wrong about this. Iran has been close to a nuclear weapon for a long time now. She knew that. What she's doing is she's using scare tactics to try to get us back into another deal, which, of course, would not be the right thing to do. Absolutely the wrong move at the wrong time.
Exactly. And you know what, of course, letting the Russians do it for us, which of course makes no sense whatsoever. And again, the Obama/Biden team's desire is to make Iran a nuclear power because they want to make them the regional hegemon, and that's supposed to make them a responsible state all of a sudden. It's insane. Now, I have called the nations of China, Iran, and Russia, I've called their alliance an axis of oppression. This military alliance between these nations is not only a threat, in my view, to the United States, but it's the entirety of Western civilization. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. And we've had China, for instance, just to take a look at this. These three nations have cooperated together, especially China and Russia and China and Iran. During the Iraq War, China was supplying small arms that were used to kill American soldiers, and they did that through Iran. And unfortunately, George W. Bush didn't do very much about it. We all knew this was going on. I don't have a security clearance. I knew it was going on. and yet we had the administration not doing anything to stop China. China has been busting sanctions, the oil sanctions. All the presidents have been responsible for this because they've known that it's gone on, Chris, and they haven't done anything.